There's a moment when it hits, when the pressure starts to rise, when the anger hits your chest and the fire hits your eyes. There's a moment when you know that your mouth's about to snap, when the flesh says let it fly. That's the moment to create the gap. Don't react, don't attack, don't let anger take the map. Take a breath, take it back, put some distance in the trap. Create that gap. That's the space where you decide if your flesh will take the ride or the spirit will provide the direction you should guide. Because flesh wants to answer, flesh wants to strike back, flesh wants to take the moment and turn mercy into lack. Flesh says give 'em what they gave, flesh says show 'em who is brave, flesh says make 'em pay, but the spirit says, wait. Create that gap. Before the word, take a breath. Before the move, consider death. Before the anger takes your chest, let the spirit do the rest. James said, be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow when anger's near. That's not weakness, that's control. That's refusing to give anger your soul. Create that gap. Because the enemy knows what a moment can become. He can turn a little spark into a war before it's done. He can take one angry word, turn it into something worse, turn a wound into a rage, take a moment, write a curse. Jesus said the thief will come to steal, kill, and destroy. So don't give him your reaction and then wonder where's the joy. Create that gap. When you're mad, gap. When you're hurt, gap. When you're proud, gap. When revenge starts sounding good, gap. When your mouth is loaded, gap. When your flesh says now, you say, not yet. Create that gap. There's a war inside the space between the anger and the grace, between the look upon your face and the word you're about to place. Who's going to speak? Who's going to lead? Who's going to plant that next seed? Flesh or spirit? Pride or peace? Anger or grace? Who's going to take the driver's seat? Create the gap. Because the gap ain't empty, no, the gap ain't just a pause. It's a place where you can choose what'll govern all your thoughts. You can let the anger crack. You can let the enemy take a little and take back. Or you can breathe. You can pray. You can bow. You can say, Lord, not my way, not my will, not right now. Create that gap. Between the hurt and the word, between the wound and the sword, between the anger and the act, between the urge and the attack. Create that gap. Don't wait for it, make it. Don't hope for it, take it. Don't surrender the feeling, break it. Give the spirit room to lead it. Because Galatians tells us walk by the spirit, not by the flesh. So when the flesh says hit back, spirit says hold back. Flesh says make 'em pray. Spirit says, give it to me. Flesh says you better answer. Spirit says, you better pray. That's the gap. That's the fight. That's the choice. That's the night when you hear two voices and decide which one gets the mic. Create that gap. Because 1 second can save a relationship. 1 breath can stop retaliation. 1 pause can prevent devastation. 1 prayer can redirect a generation. 1 moment can change your destination. Create that gap. The enemy wants reaction. God wants response. The enemy wants rage. God wants restraint. The enemy wants pride. God wants surrender. The enemy wants the wound to become the weapon. God wants the wound to become the testimony. So, create the gap. When the pressure hits, create the gap. When the disrespect comes, create the gap. When your blood runs hot, create the gap. When your flesh says, let's go, you say, not yet. Because I'm not going to let one moment make me what I never meant to be. I'm not going to let my anger write the story God has called me to see. I'm not going to give the enemy ammunition with my mouth. I'm not going to let a moment going north turn my whole life south. Create the gap. Take the breath. Take the beat. Take the moment. Take your seat. Let the spirit take the lead, then speak, then move, then choose. Not the flesh, not the rage, not the lie, not the trap. Create the gap. Because between what was done and what gets done, there's a space. And in that space, you've got a choice. So before you react, pray. Before you answer, wait. Before you strike, breathe. Before you speak, seek. Then let the spirit have the floor. Let the flesh hit the door. Let the enemy want some more, but get no more. Because you created the gap. You made room for God. And now, God gets the next word. You like this rap? Create that gap.